Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Neeti Goyal, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Indira Gandhi National College, Ladwa, District Kurukshetra. Today we are going to discuss organizational design across nations. After completing this module, the students will be able to know the meaning of organizational design and organizational structure. Importance of organizational structure, factors determining organizational structure, various international organization structures, suitability, merits and demerits of each structure. The growth and development of information and communication technology has done away with the national boundaries. The entire world has become a global village. Companies are also spreading their operations beyond the national boundaries, which has led to the development of multinational enterprises. Multinational companies now not only sell in foreign markets, they even manufacture and provide services overseas. It is not easy to operate in the foreign markets since each country has its own unique socio-cultural, technological, legal, political and economic systems that may not mesh well with the company's existing methods. An MNC cannot operate in foreign markets without adapting to the host country's environment. Multinational organizational structures must accommodate the realities of doing business in home markets while still furthering the company's overall strategy. The structure demands a setup that simultaneously organizes resources along three dimensions: geographical dimension, functional dimensions such as marketing, operations, etc., and the product or service dimension. Organization design structure. Organization design deals with structure of organizations. It refers to the decisions and actions of management that result in specific organizational structure. It analyzes roles and relationships to form a structure to achieve specific ends. It is a systematic and logical grouping of activities, delegation of authority and responsibility, and establishing working relationships that enable both the company and the employee to realize their mutual objectives. An organizational structure ensures the smooth and efficient achievement of the organizational objectives. It can be asserted that the establishment of relations among various persons working in the enterprise is called organizational structure. It represents the formal reporting relationships within an organization. Any business organization, whether domestic or international, needs a proper structure for its effective functioning. An international business requires a structure that can house the usual business functions of finance, marketing, research and development, production, etc., as well as the functions which are required for being successful in the foreign markets as well. It should be able to well integrate the subsidiaries' operations with the headquarters. It should be able to well integrate the subsidiaries' operations with the headquarters as well as enable the implementation of overall organizational strategy. An organizational structure is designed in accordance with the characteristics of the enterprise. Every enterprise has its own unique characteristics. Thus, there can be many forms or designs of an organizational structure. Organizational structure, once decided, may undergo changes whenever required according to the change in situations. There is no standardized organizational design which may be adopted by all the enterprises. It can have many forms or designs. Organizational design includes some key decisions to be taken. These include identifying the activities and dividing those activities into small tasks and assigning them to individuals. Grouping of individuals in departments and departments in the organization. Designation of formal reporting relationships and delegation of authority, including number of levels in the hierarchy and span of control. Designation of systems to ensure effective communication, coordination and integration across departments. The figure you can see depicts the 4 key decisions in organizational design. The first one out of which is division of labor, which may range from high level to low level. Departmentalization, it may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Span of control may vary from few people in the span to too many people in the span. Delegation of authority may also be too high to low. The structure of organizations have undergone changes with time as there has been sharp increase in their size not only within the national boundaries but outside the national boundaries as well. The diversification of their activities and the complication of processes in dynamically changing environment. Differences in structure of the traditional and contemporary organizations. Basis. On the basis of level of centralization or decentralization, a traditional organization has high level of centralization, whereas in contemporary organizations there is high level of decentralization. On the basis of levels in the hierarchy, in traditional organizations there were more hierarchical levels resulting in tall structure, whereas in contemporary model organization, few hierarchical levels which results in horizontal structure. Span of control in traditional organizations is narrow, whereas in contemporary organizations it is wide. Adaptability. In traditional organizations, the structure is rigid, whereas in contemporary organizations they have an flexible structure. Traditional organizations are static organizations, whereas the contemporary organizations are innovative organizations. The traditional organizations manage people, whereas contemporary organizations manage processes. Communication on the basis of authorization. In traditional organization, communication is the authority of individual, whereas in contemporary organizations, communication is taken to be a teamwork. Modern organizations are designed in a way that makes communication more dynamic. It blends individual and organizational goals together into an integrated whole. New designs focus on adaptability and higher employee involvement. They work on fewer rules and boundaries and distribute authority based on skills. Importance of organizational structure. Organizational structure is the basis for building an effective system of governance. It ensures a proper flow of information and also simplifies the communication. It helps in establishing coordination between the various units. It ensures proper utilization of firm's resources and distribute evenly the pressure on staff to avoid duplication of functions. It also ensures that there is unity of command and direction. It delimits the scope of leaders, define their powers and area of responsibility and increase overall productivity of the enterprise. International organizational structures. The various international organizational structures are export department structure, international division structure, global organizational structures which may be in form of global functional divisional structure, global product division structure, global geographic structure, global matrix structure, transnational network structures and team-based organizational structures. Exports department structure. Exports are often looked after by a company's marketing or sales department in the initial stages when the volume of exports sale is low. As the volume of exports of a company gain momentum, the company sets up an export department separate from its domestic marketing. The head of the export department controls the export activities and HR department does the recruitment, selection and training, recruitment, selection and staffing, training, development and compensation functions. Export department may also do the HR activities itself even without consulting the HR department. Export department structure has been depicted by the following figure. The marketing department handles the domestic marketing department as well as the export department, and also the manning of the exports department is looked after by the human resource department. International division structure. As the foreign involvement of a company increases, a separate international division is created to handle all the foreign operations and is managed by a head who coordinates all foreign operations and who reports directly to the chief executive officer at the headquarters. The head of subsidiaries reports to the head of international division. The corporate human resource department oversees all the HR activities such as staffing, expatriate management and training and development at the entire corporate level. HR heads at the subsidiaries interact with corporate HR manager for carrying out the HR activities. International division structure has been depicted by the figure. As we can see, there is a separate international division which handles the different departments like cars division in France, bikes division in France and cars division in Japan, and each department has its own departments of operations, finance, marketing and human resource. The main advantages of international division structure are: it provides greater flexibility and quicker response to environmental changes. Divisional offices act as independent units and serve as profit centers for the organization. It is easy to establish closer connection with the customers. The disadvantages of divisional structure are: divisional structure suffers from drawbacks of having more hierarchical levels such as delays in decision making, lack of cooperation at addressing issues related to the units, etc. There is duplication of functions at different levels and there is very high cost of maintaining the management structure. Foreign subsidiary managers do not have sufficient authority relative to the heads of domestic divisions. Coordination of the activities of international divisions with the rest of the firm becomes difficult. This structure is often phased out by the firms after their initial overseas expansion. Divisional structures are more suitable only in stable environment. Global organizational structures. With growth in the company's foreign operations, integration of firms' operations is required, which gives rise to worldwide organizational structure. Different divisions are brought more close to company units as integral parts and not just as independent side concerns. While adopting a worldwide organizational structure, the firm often has to decide on the extent or type of control to be exerted by the headquarters over its subsidiaries and the extent of autonomy to be given to the subsidiaries in deciding important matters. It leads to the integration of a fragmented organization into a globally integrated organizational structure, which may be based on functional, geographic or product division aspects. Depending upon the firm's strategy and conditions of the external business environment, it may further evolve as a global matrix or transnational network structure. These structures have been discussed as follows. Global functional division structure. Under global functional division structure, each functional department or division is responsible for its activities across the world. For instance, the HR department is responsible for all the HR activities, that is selection, training and development, etc. throughout the world. Similar is the case with other departments as well. Each functional department has full responsibility over its functions across the headquarters as well as subsidiaries. In the figure, global functional division structure is depicted. As we can see, each functional department is responsible for its operations throughout the globe. Like finance department will look for all the financial activities throughout the globe, that is where the company is operating. like in Asia, USA and Europe. Similarly, marketing department will look for all the activities in Asia, USA and Europe. Human resource department will look for all the activities in Asia, USA and Europe. Such an organizational structure facilitates centralized control over each function, and also expertise of each functional division becomes available throughout the organization. Less managerial staff is required and functional managers develop higher international orientation. The main disadvantage of this structure is that it is very difficult to coordinate cross-cultural functions. Also, managing multiple product lines becomes a challenge due to separation of each function into different departments. Caterpillar, an M&E, has adopted this structure. Such a structure is favored only when centralized coordination and control of various activities is required. This structure is most suited to M&Es with a narrow integrated product line. Global product division structure. Under global product division structure, each product division is treated as an independent entity and is given a worldwide responsibility and autonomy for the product growth. Each product division operates as a profit center. This structure facilitates development of global strategy for the product, but on the other side, differences in consumer behavior and tastes based on local to local conditions do not get much attention. The product divisions heads receive internal functional support from all functional divisions such as operations, finance, marketing and human resources. The global product structure is effective in managing diversified product lines and for carrying out product modifications so as to meet changing consumer needs in diverse markets. It also enables to take advantage of differences in product life cycles in different overseas markets. Apart from advantages, under global product structure, the functional activities replicate with each product group and there is multiplicity of staff carrying similar functions for each product group. Lack of cooperation among various product groups may result in loss of sales. There is also a possibility that product managers may ignore the long-term potential markets and may focus on current attractive markets only. The main disadvantage of this type of structure are there is single chain of communication for information about the product and technology for divisions on each level. Related production and marketing resources are entirely devoted to products manufactured by each division. Thus, production and selling results turn out to be excellent for each local market, and there is also a possibility for each division to develop independently of international economic activities. The disadvantages of global product division structure are local autonomy to the division is very limited, and the local subsidiaries are treated as cost centers as opposed to profit centers, and communication and coordination difficulties remain between divisions that cause loss of opportunities of cooperation on foreign market. Global geographic structure. Global geographic structure organizes firms' global operations on the basis of geographic regions. This structure is generally used by companies with mature businesses and narrow product lines. It facilitates the subsidiaries' heads to focus on local market requirements and respond quickly and effectively to the environmental changes. The global geographic structure has been depicted in the figure. As we can see that the structure facilitates the subsidiaries' head to focus on the local market requirements, and they can respond quickly because in each country a company has its functional department. Like in Japan, the company is having its operations department, finance department, marketing department and human resource department. Also, the main department will coordinate the activities of all the subsidiaries departments. The corporate headquarters transfer resources from one country to another as and when required. Such structure is suitable when the product lines are not too diverse and resources can be shared. Global matrix structure. It is an integrated organizational structure having more than one dimension. In a global matrix structure, product divisions interact with various geographical areas or functional divisions. The matrix structure shares joint control over firms' various functional activities which is not there in any other structure. The global matrix structure has been depicted in the figure. Matrix structure has an inbuilt concept of cross-functional interaction and facilitates greater interaction and thus flow of information throughout the organization. It facilitates ease of technology transfer leading to higher economies of scale. Matrix structure is used successfully by MNEs such as Shell, Dow Chemical, etc. Biggest flaw in a matrix structure is that it flouts the principle of unity of command and the employees may receive conflicting direction from their superiors which lead to a compromising alternative solution between both the commands which may not be an optimal solution to the problem. Also, it lacks flexibility as firm cannot quickly respond to the environmental changes due to interwoven structure. Transnational network structure. Transnational network structure integrates the entire globe together. It incorporates characteristics of function, product and geographic structure and link worldwide subsidiaries over the network. It is also known as digital organization, virtual organization or modular organization. The advancement in information and communication technology made possible the development of network organization. In the network organization, members are geographically far apart and they are connected to each other through technology like computers or mobile devices. It is called virtual since it appears to be a single unified organization having a real physical location. Virtual organizations rely almost entirely on internet, phone or email communication and require little face time. They are not tied to any particular workspace. The ICT is the backbone of virtual organization and are characterized by their flexibility. There is no formal structure of this organization. It is defined by how its processes are linked with each other and how various subsystems are integrated. The transnational network structure is designed around terminals, that is, the units responsible for connecting with product, functional and geographic aspects of the organization. Thus, transnational network structures build up fully networked multidimensional organizations. The framework of a transnational network structure consists of three primary components which are subunits, specialized operations, interdependent relations. Subunits are subsidiaries which can be located anywhere in the world which can benefit the organization either by sourcing low-cost factors of production or provide information or new technologies or market trends. Specialized operations are the activities carried out by subunits to tap specialized expertise or other resources in the company's worldwide subsidiaries. Interdependent relationships. Sharing of information and resources throughout the dispersed and specialized subsidiaries. Philips is a good example of a multinational which follows transnational network structure. Organizations are networking together and collaborating more than ever before. The concept of a boundaryless organization was invented at General Electric and explained in the book The Boundaryless Organization, Breaking the Chains of Organizational Structure. They are well suited for rapid innovation and therefore ideal for companies in the growing technology industry. Transnational network structure has been depicted in the figure. As we can see that manufacturing is carried out in Brazil, research and development is carried out in US, and manufacturing is carried out in Mexico. All these departments are related through information and communication technology. It has a virtual structure. Team-based organizational structure. Team-based organizational structures are also called project-based organizations, as against traditional organizational structures with different departments for each business function. Today, business activities of a firm revolve around teams. In a team structure, teams are constituted for each activity, whether for production, sales, marketing, HR activities or research and development, etc. There is no rigid hierarchy or chain of command in a team structure. Instead, each team has its own style of working and is managed by a team leader who coordinates across departments for specific complex problems. There are 4 important kinds of teams that one would commonly find. Problem-solving teams. Problem-solving teams are constituted to solve problems of their department functioning. It generally comprises of 5 to 12 members who meet on a weekly basis to discuss and solve their departmental problems. Members deliberate on the problem and present their advice to the higher management. Self-managed teams. Unlike problem-solving teams, self-managed teams also have the authority for implementing the solutions and are responsible for their outcomes. Self-managed teams are highly effective provided the members are highly motivated to bring a positive change. Cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams comprise of members across different business functional departments but belonging to a similar hierarchical level to accomplish a common tasks. Common functional teams are very effective if managed well. It facilitates sharing of knowledge and expertise from the respective work area for a common cause. Since the members belong to diverse backgrounds, they were able to give different perspectives to arrive at the best solution. Virtual teams. Virtual team members collaborate online. They communicate through video conferences and discuss in real time to realize a common objective. While virtual teams are easily manageable, but members sometimes may lack the motivation to find solution or fail to trust each other due to absence of any direct interaction. Factors for team success. A team's effectiveness depends on various factors such as context, composition, work design and process. Apart from team performance, managers must also measure member satisfaction. Apart from team performance, members must also measure member satisfaction levels to find out the productivity of the teams. The success of teams can be ensured through good leadership and mutual trust. Motivation, providing proper resources to teams to function properly. Proper performance evaluation systems to reinforce commitment. A proper team composition by understanding the abilities of each members and assigning responsibilities accordingly. Proper conflict management systems, proper team processes and systems. Managing teams is more challenging than team development because the practical aspects of team functioning become evident after its development. There may be cultural differences within the team members which make the management of team difficult. Also, team-based organizational designs are considered unstable. Conclusion. The organizational structure is an integral part of any organization and its most important part. It is a pattern of job relationships and determines the flow of materials, energy and communication for the achievement of enterprise objectives. Large multinational corporations require an organizational structure that can integrate its functioning beyond the domestic market with the headquarters. Each organizational structure has its own system of internal connections and relations. International organization structure may evolve from a simple export department structure to a transnational network structure depending upon the extent of globalization. The structure of every organization is unique on its own. depending upon the overall global strategy of the firm, size of organization, technology, the relative size of international operations as compared to domestic operations, the characteristics of the marketplace in which the firm operates, and environmental uncertainty. The influence of internal and external environmental factors play a very crucial role. Instability of the environment often necessitates change in organizational structure which, if not carried out, may even shatter the entire organization. Thank you.